It's Florida Daily TV, brought to you by FloridaDaily.com. For all your news on politics, business, and education, it's FloridaDaily.com. Now, here's your host, Ed Dean.
Welcome to another edition of Florida Daily TV, right here on FloridaDaily.com. Okay, so here on my morning show, which is syndicated statewide, we also have Florida Daily TV. I have a lot of the guests that you see on Florida Daily TV on the morning show, and of course,
Right.
Christina Pappas. I pronounced it right, correct?
Good job.
Okay, just want to make sure. Who's the 2021 Florida Realtors president-elect for Miami-Dade? By the way, they call it the Wall Street of the South. You guys' economic boom is continuing going on down there, isn't it?
It's incredible. We're very blessed to be down here. Not a whole lot of affordable homes, but
that's
no,
right.
The financial. We're the new financial world of the South. I mean,
that's
right.
I
think that's where we're headed.
I want to get to this. You were talking about this on our radio show. So we've got what, and this is, I know you're not here, and neither are we, to pick on anybody. Or I mean, just there's some weird things going on I want you to address. There is for the audience out there, 1992 had a big article on FloridaDaily.com. Florida Realtors said, yeah, we'll go along with the tax to help out those, to attract more of those teachers, first responders, law enforcement, and police. And for those of you out there listening, and Christine, I'm not taking away any thunder from you. One of the areas that is to attract fire and police, and a lot of this is to, with what's called in the trust, I guess you call it a trust fund, the affordable housing, is to help them with down payments and assistance, which is fine. Okay. It's like you'd offer that sometimes with the military. And you're telling me that, wait a second, they're looking at cutting the split here. And you said this caught you guys out of left field. Explain to the audience what this is about.
Yeah, so we have a dock stamp tax. This is what is a part of every single real estate transaction. When you sell a house, there's dock stamp taxes, and a portion of those, or majority of those, actually go towards our state and local housing trust funds, and those are for housing. And so every year we get this big pool of money sitting in Tallahassee, in which the legislature gets to decide, unfortunately, how much they're going to allow to go back towards housing and how much they sweep into a general revenue or towards other projects. And so this year we were expecting a rough year, but they put a bill forth that permanently reduces, actually the original bill permanently reduces the funds that can be used towards housing by 66%. I mean, reducing it by 66% really threw us off our game here. We were so confused. We understand that it was great to keep these 1/3 protected, but to reduce it by 66% seemed a little nuts to us. And now they have adjusted that. Our realtor force came in and said, wait, we can't accept this. We need more money. There's just not enough money out there for our really heroes in today's age. And so they've increased it to 50, but it's still a permanent reduction of 50%. So no matter how much money we get in there, it's permanently reduced to 50%.
Yeah. So how did they, now here's the big question. We're getting $10 billion from the COVID stimulus. Has that been accounted? I'm looking at these budgets that they're proposing. Some report says that's included with the budget. Some say, or the stimulus. Some say it's not. Is this included with the extra stimulus money?
Right. So that's where we're as confused as you are. We saw the new budget revenues come out with an extra $2 billion that was really originally unaccounted for in the original cut to the housing fund.
It's amazing how they find that all the time, isn't it? So, go ahead.
I'd love to find that kind of money. But we even believe that there is more coming. So our understanding is that it's not inclusive of the money coming from the American Rescue Act. And so therefore, with the other projects they want to fund out of our housing funds, we really believe there's other money there.
Yeah. So to your point, they always find this extra amount of money. I don't know why they can't find it at the beginning, but other revenues come in. What you're saying is they found $2 billion. That could be through redoing some of the numbers, accounting. That didn't include the stimulus money, correct?
I don't believe it did. So we believe on top of that, we have it's the American Rescue Plan of 20.
We just call it COVID stimulus. But Christina, for the audience out there, if all of this extra abundant amount of money is coming in, you will have more money coming in, which means you shouldn't have this cut. What if some of the House and Senate leaders, what have they said about that when you ask that question?
So we do ask that question. And ultimately, look, there's a lot of projects and we understand that, right? We live in a balanced budget state. And so that's the beauty of having to find where the money goes. But ultimately, their priorities have been the septic tank mitigation and sea level rise. Right. And so they still feel they need that money, and that money is necessary regardless of how much is coming in. We agree to disagree.
Yeah, I was saying this before that we knew this was coming. I mean, this stuff's already been talked about, but when did you guys educate for the audience? So you've had no problem with this. The governor's been supportive of you, correct? Of the Florida Realtors.
Right. The governor actually came out with his budget and it had the funds fully funded. So it said to take all the housing money in the housing trust funds and give it back to where it goes into affordable housing. So that was his budget, part of his budget. And he came out with a balanced budget plan and was able to really find room and money for other projects. So he was able to do that. And so the governor's been supportive. Last year, we actually were fully funded and the governor did support that as well. And we've had a really great relationships for the past, 30 years plus. Our advocacy arm has been at Tallahassee for a very long time. But we really didn't find out about any of this except through a press release, like majority of everybody else. And so
wait a second. Usually, and you know this, if you catch wind of this, you find out maybe doing a committee hearing, or at least a committee maybe last year. I know they're making up for COVID, or even in January and February. You found out about these cuts during a press release?
During a press release. And the next day I got on a plane and went to Tallahassee to make sure I could testify in front of the committee that was hearing the bill. The press release came out, I believe early in the week, Monday or Tuesday, and I was in Tallahassee by Thursday testifying to say, wait, what's happening here? And really that's been the other conversation is the realtors are so believe so much in these projects because we see the great it does in our communities.
And it's paying for itself, by the way.
We just can't accept, sorry?
And it's paying for itself.
It really does. I like to joke. It's a government program that runs really well. Okay. We don't see a lot of these.
Right.
But, and I think, and it does, it pays for itself. We run, I anecdotally have heard stories of different local housing authorities running out of money after 60 days of getting that money and then just having wait lists until to see what we're going to do next year and how much money they're going to give them next year.
When you go up and you testify in a committee, a lot of times it's been through Zoom. I'm kind of with you because I have to go to Tallahassee almost once a week to do the show, meet with clients, whatever. But sometimes it's much stronger to meet with them in person and through Zoom. When they came up for the audience out there, and again, let me remind everybody with Christina Pappas, the president-elect of 2021 for the Florida Realtors, this has been a program that has been used for first responders, fire and police that helps them. It's almost like an enticement in a very good way to lure them into the state. It works out well. The governor sponsored that. He talked about that even with school teachers. When did they give you a reason, Christine, that we've got to, if the word is, as a reporter who's covered this before, the quote, raid the fund, what was the reasoning why? I mean, you got so many of these other quote trust funds out there. Why yours?
And that we haven't really gotten a true clear answer on. We do understand that they believe sea level rise and septic tank mitigation goes hand in hand with housing, which I would have to agree. Yes, we need those projects for people to live in our houses, but those are for community strengthening trust funds. That's an environmental infrastructure type of project. This isn't the state and local government housing. And, I like to say at the end of the day, if we figure out all of that, if no one can afford our homes, what are we going to do? And the money is there. It came from housing for housing.
Right.
We're just simply asking them to use it that way.
I'm kind of perplexed. You made a lot of cities are, I don't know why they're waiting so long. They're looking at the septic tank issue. I get that. All right. Yeah. But if you got flooding, I thought a lot of this was about coastal flooding, which in some parts of Florida, you got a higher amount of sea level rise or the amount of water that is going to take 30 to 40 feet for even the sea levels to come up. I'm saying I'm a little perplexed here. I understand. Why does that have to come across from your all's fund? Why did they do that if there's an environmental trust fund that there's one? Again, I understand with septic tanks, but sea level rise, what does this have to do with homes? If you're building in a low flood plain zone, what does that have to do with anything?
And ultimately, that's been our conversation as well. We appreciate that these are really important issues to many of our realtors and many of our members. The main concern is that these are housing. These were made for housing and they really need to be used, like you said. And the crazy thing is they do entice. I went to get my global entry card stamped the other day, renewed. I'm at Miami airport and the guy who is stamping my passport, who's a local officer.
Wait. A passport's called a global entry card?
I got a global entry card. So I had to go and do that whole whatever.
Name, but go ahead, I'm sorry.
Right? So I went to to get global entry, but I had to go to the airport. And so I'm talking to the local officer there, and I'm talking to him, and he's like, "What do you do?" I said, "Real estate." And I said, "Oh," he's like, "Oh, I just bought a house." And I said, "Where'd you buy a house?" And he's like, "Oh, about an hour and a half from here." And I said, "Do you work here every day at Miami Airport?" He said, "Almost every day." I said, "Why'd you buy an hour and a half?" He goes, "I can't afford anything close by." And I said, I didn't push further on affordable housing and all of that. And I thought, wow, that was just this week. And I'm thinking nobody can afford nearby. So he's almost I said, "So you drive almost an hour and a half every day?" And he said, "Yes, almost an hour and a half every day, just because each way." I'm like,
and by the way, the program
funds.
Yeah, when people hear, because there's always sometimes an unfortunate stigma when I used to cover as a local reporter, affordable housing. I mean, okay, we're not talking we're not talking like a Section 8. We're talking where government always comes in and assists with housing things. I mean, they do it for veterans out there, and that's a compliment.
Yeah. No, and we look, the majority of people, I mean, those statistics about people living paycheck to paycheck are just outrageous, right? And that's every American. And so when you're asking Americans to come up with $10, $15, $20, $30,000 out of their pocket to purchase a home, it's very hard to find these days, especially after a pandemic. And so we're simply saying, let us help them. Let us use these funds to help somebody purchase a home, because it's not always about, once they're in the home, they can typically afford the mortgage payment. It's really about getting into the home and that first step, that closing cost assistance or that down payment assistance. And that's really the most important. Once they're there, and for every 2 homes we sell, 1 job is created.
Yeah. So for further information, if I may give out the website, it's affordablehousingfl.org. Affordablehousingfl.org. And I say this in jest because we always have fun on the radio. It's so fun on Florida Daily TV. When you hear Christina say, "We don't know," that's not a diss. She's actually asking the right questions, because when there's something that can't be explained and you're sitting there going, "What's going on?" That is the right answer. We don't know what's going on. I mean, you do know what's going on, but I mean, why are they doing this? Or when do we plan to find out anything else about it? We got a few weeks left here. What are we hearing about this, Christina, with extra amount of money coming in? We don't know, right?
So I did receive word today, unfortunately, that the doc stamp conforming bill passed legislature. It's being held as part of what's called the conference committee.
Right.
And so then they go to budget. Basically, the House has one budget, the Senate has the other. They both don't line up. So now they go to conference committee. And that's where everybody, the head of each of the committees will meet from each house and basically say, okay, how do we make all these numbers work?
This will go on for a couple of weeks, right?
Right, a couple more weeks. But we do want everybody to head to our website, because the more our legislators are hearing from people who care about these programs, the more likely they are to fully understand really what they're doing when Christina, they're making these decisions.
Real quick for the audience, you have an ally with Governor Ron DeSantis. We like a lot what he's talked about. We're fans of the governor. Having said this, I know that you have groups that help you out. Does the governor's people just let them do it, and he could sit back and say, "Hey, I'm going to veto that because there isn't enough in there for our first"? So that's possible that could happen, correct, down the road?
Yes, there's always a possibility of a veto. From the way I understand it, you know more than me. There is a way also to wrap it in the budget.
Right.
A way to wrap it in the budget where so he has a line item veto option, right. And then he has a full budget veto option. I'm not sure he's at a point where he would veto the whole budget just for these.
Right.
And depending on how they place it into the budget, he may, in order to kind of veto that, he may have to veto the whole thing. So we do have a friend there. And as you know, politics are a lot about negotiations, right, and a lot of relationships. But, they've been closed at the Senate and at the House. So getting in front of them has been tougher and tougher, which is why we have to rely on emails and phone calls these days to really get the message out. It's like
closing a real estate deal. Everything's smooth. You show the house, they've got the credit, they can get the loan. Yep. We're ready to close. OMG, a red flag comes up, and now you got to, in order to finish the deal, which should have been done 2 weeks ago, it's going to be another month. I know how you feel. Trust me. You've done a couple real estate deals. No, well, I've owned a few houses. Yeah, no, but I'm just telling you, as a journalist, I've covered this. We felt so great, honestly, after seeing Governor DeSantis' budget. We felt really great, and we also knew it was going to be tough. So we weren't going to lay on the pressure too much either. We understood with a pandemic, potential, revenues down, but now seeing these general revenues numbers and really seeing what we have produced, I mean,
it's incredible. And so, yeah, we're at the finish line. We're almost there. We're at 50%. We know that there's definitely more room for them to be able to give back to housing. We definitely need it. It's a great program. Look, closing costs and down payment assistance, helping people get a home, people who own homes have lower rates of divorces, have higher rates of graduation, have lower rates of depression. I mean, the financial stability and the prosperity of Florida is dependent on people owning homes.
The website, affordablehousingfl.org, affordablehousingfl.org. I like the issue. Christina Pappas is the 2021 Florida Realtors president-elect out of Miami-Dade.
Miami.
Boy, is there anything, I'm born and raised out of Melbourne. Is there anything south of West Palm? I'm just kidding with you. We joke. It's amazing because people in your neck of the woods don't recognize North Florida. What do you think of South Georgia?
I joke that I need my passport to come up to your neck of the woods. So there you go.
What do you call it? Your global entry card. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great word.
No, my father will say, I love Miami. It's so close to the States. So there you go.
That's a good one. I get that joke. Christina, we're going to be following this. Again, for those out there, affordablehousingfl.org. Thanks for coming on Florida Daily TV.
No, thank you. And we really appreciate you covering this. It's such an important issue.
Well, we're going to do it again. We're going to do it again real soon. Another edition of Florida Daily TV on floridadaily.com.